and welcome to another episode of Thav Exclusive. I am your host, Natasha Brown, and with me today is a simply inspirational young lady who has been able to do amazing things with her life in spite of life's challenges. Do stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.
My country people, you wey don register for your PVC. Make sure say you go collect your PVC o. The matter you no stop there o. Make you join body with other Nigerians, vote casual leaders wey go make the country better. No let world people buy you o. Remember, na our future be this. And this future, we must take am by force because your votes na be your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
Welcome back. All right, so with me here is this lovely young lady, Miss Favour Rufus. She's actually Miss Portharcourt City Humanity. Welcome.
Thank you.
You were so inspirational, like I said. Every time I hear your story and every time I look at you, I'm like, is there anything I cannot attain in life? You know, like you were that inspirational, I must say. And I am really glad that you're here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so real quick, what's your backstory? Tell me about your childhood, what it was like growing up.
Well, as a child growing up, I was raised by my mother, who apparently is a single mother. But it's kind of challenging, you know, as a single mother, raising your daughter all alone. Times were hard, but she was very hardworking. And I faced a lot of challenges from school, because I'm kind of quiet, like when I was little, not now. Like
I wanted to say that.
So my mother would always scold me for being a, you know, quiet and never talking person that everyone wants to bully. And most of all, she was a very encouraging mother who stood by me through thick and thin and never let me down or left me all alone to suffer.
Miss Barakat City Humanity, what's that about?
Okay, so
because obviously you're a beauty queen. Yes. So what's that about? What's the office about?
Okay, so as my title entails, humanity. It is basically for the people. So I would say I am a queen for the people, to serve, of course, and give back to society the little way that I can in order to add value and also to help better our community.
Okay, that's very altruistic, you know, the office you're in. Do you seem to get some form of collaboration with the government to be able to do this humanitarian services?
Oh yeah, of course. So I'm hoping that the government can join me, especially on my pet project, which I title Creating a Better Future for the Physically Disabled or for the physically challenged, and of course those who are less privileged. And not just the government, but also some non-governmental organizations and private sectors as well.
Okay, so there's something about you that is not noticeable, you know, really, you know, quite easily. Anybody who gets to interact with you or gets to meet you at first would actually not know that you're visually impaired.
Really?
The first time I met you, I'm like, okay, she has some pretty eyes.
Oh,
yes,
to blink
you know, that's what I thought. And then the producer says, oh, she's actually visually impaired. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh.
So, and then you're still a model at the same time. You're like a pageantry model. So just give us a little backstory to this whole visual impairment, you know, happening.
Okay. So I was 5 years old when I discovered I can see things from far. But when I would tell people, they thought I was lying, because basically I could play, watch TV, especially cartoons, never missed it. So it felt like I was lying. Not until I think I was like 7, yeah, when I was having my promotional examination, where they asked me to, of course, write, you know, the answers and all that. So I wrote down my correct answers on a rough sheet. Then while trying to write it back into the answer sheet, I made a terrible mistake. Like, it was terrible. So when my teacher called me out, she was like, okay, I want you to answer these questions. And I answered correctly. And then she got confused, like, how come you're answering me correctly, but what's written here is different from what you're saying, you know? So that's when she noticed something is wrong with my eyesight, because even then I couldn't see the board from afar. So she called my mom, went to the hospital. The doctor said I had already lost my left eye and I was left with just the right eye, which was already at the point of going totally bad. Like I'll just lose the whole vision totally. And that's where the whole journey began.
And there's this story you told me about, you know, what happened back then in your primary school where, you know, kids being mischievous and then a boy in your
my
class.
classmate.
Yes.
So it was like an extra moral class after school and stuff. So he asked me for a ruler and I gave him the metal ruler. I gave it to him. He was done. He said, turn around and take your ruler. Me being innocent, turned around, tried to take my ruler. I never knew he had the ruler just like this.
Really close to the eye?
Yeah, really close. So when I turned, whoa, it just caught my eye right there and I started bleeding. Teachers all over me. Oh, let's take it to the clinic and all that. They did the little they could. Before my mother would, you know, take me to the hospital for a medical checkup and all, it already cost me a lot. I got an eye infection, which led to a diagnosis where the doctor said I have glaucoma. And that's where the journey of me being visually impaired totally started. I had to even drop out of school at some point, couldn't further my education to secondary school for 6 years. And finally moved on to a school at Abbey Estate, which wasn't really healthy for me. So
I would go into that particular one because when you told me about the state of that particular school, I was appalled. I was really appalled. But then, before we get into that, you've not always been visually impaired.
yeah,
It happened at the age of 6, 7.
yes.
What was it like for you as a child, beginning to understand that, okay, it's like I'm really not seeing anymore?
Well, at that time, you might say I was very young, so
Yes.
being childish at mind and all that. But because daddy was never there, I had to go through a lot of struggle. At a very young age, I had to buckle up and groom myself into maturity because life wasn't so fair with me and mom. So I had to see things that as a child I wasn't supposed to see. And my mom had to open up and show me the way of life and tell me this is the reality. There's no need to hide it because you're now in the world where wickedness and struggles are a possibility to come, you know. So when I discovered I couldn't see that much, to me I felt something was wrong but didn't know what it was. You get, because I was still a child. But I noticed my friends could see from no matter what distance, but I couldn't see from a far distance. I'd had to go close to the board, like this is the board and this is me. And my friends would tease me and mock me. That's where I became the shy person at school, and they would bully me because of, you know, what I was going through.
I love the way that you always give accolades to your mother. It makes me understand that, you know, in as much as we can be strong by ourselves, for ourselves, we still cannot undermine or underplay the role of a supportive person in our corner.
Yeah.
Especially when we're going through challenges. So I just want you to highlight a little bit more about the role your mother played in helping you build all of this confidence, you know, to being who you are today.
Well, first I'll start with when daddy left. I was pretty young. In fact, then I don't even know what my name was. I was still sulking baby. My dad left it. I was born like six weeks after my birth. That's when my dad left me. And as a child, when I started learning what talking and knowing things is all about, my mom had to tell me, listen, it's you and me. This journey, we're going to take it together. But I'm going to be here all the way, every step of the way. And she proved that. She was my mom, my dad, my brother, my companion, my best friend. I'm trying to get emotional here. She was everything. In fact, when my visual impairment started, when I noticed I was getting this glaucoma thingy, my mom would take me to the cinema, she'd take me to the park.
Almost like it never happened.
Yeah, and trust me, if you had your kid, like some parents will feel like, she can't see, come here, sweetie, stay away. My mom would, are you doing that, my daughter? She would start showing off like, oh, my beautiful princess. She would touch my hair, she would fling it, she would touch my dress, make me look, if I had a time I get shy, I'm like, Mom, stop. But you know, you just feel so bad. Oh, why did I do that to that little kid? Look at how her mom appreciates her. She never let me feel bad at any point. It felt like with my mom, I'm invincible, you know, I could do anything. I could take over the world.
And you know, that's not even you just saying it theoretically because you're doing the invincible. I mean, you chose to go into pageantry. That's taxing because you've got to move about, you've got to be very much involved, especially with your other competitors. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I love the fact that your mother, you know, was there all the way and is still there all the way.
Yeah.
But now I'll just, you know, throw a little bit more light into your modeling career, into your pageantry, how you got into it, if it's passion or just mere work, you know, the love for it. So, but before we get into that question, we'll be right back after the short break.
Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
Welcome back. All right, so before we went on that short break, you were about to, I was asking you what it's been like, what the backstory is to you getting into pageantry, what informed it.
Okay, so I watched a video on YouTube first where I got the inspiration. But before I get that, as a child, I've always loved this whole entertainment, fame and all that. And not just really fame. I really love pageantry. I'd always wanted to be like this little princess. But my mom wasn't
Cinderella.
this. Yeah. My mom wasn't this loving the fame kind of person. She just liked the ordinary life, just be me, do my thing, mind my business. But me, woo, want to be there, spotlight. And I actually do music. So everything, entertainment, everything out there was me. Journalism, music, modeling. I wanted everything, you know. So when I got out of school, I decided to apply for a job, maybe as a facial model or maybe ultra mannequin or something. But sadly, we live in a society where they're not really known to this disability thing. So some of them would not accept me. A whole lot of them didn't. I even ran into the wrong people at some point. I tried to register for pageantry and they almost scammed me. But thank God, it didn't happen. And then I watched this video of a girl from the United States. She was 19 and she won the Miss Florida USA. And she was apparently blind. I told myself, hey, if she can do it,
Then you can.
I can do it. And I went online to make sure that nobody has broken this history before me because, sorry, I like the spotlight.
I like your honesty.
So I went online and I checked and nobody broke the history. I was like, okay, it's my time. And I was like, I want this history. If nobody would do it, I would do it. To set an example for others and tell them, listen, there is ability in disability. That's how I registered for the Miss Portharcourt City beauty pageant. I've been watching this like since they started. So I knew a whole lot about them and all that. So I was like, oh, let me register and get into this and see how it goes. You know, not minding if I would win or not. For me, it was just the experience and the fun, the lessons to learn. And I learned a lot. And I'm so grateful.
What was it like working with other models? What was that experience? Because you probably did boot camping.
Yes, I did.
What was it like working with other models?
It was fun.
You were not treated specially differently in any type of way?
No, I have to say a big shout out to all of them. I felt like I had sisters because I've always yearned for my own baby sister, but my mom never got one. So yeah, But I felt like I had sisters, though many of them were older than me, a few younger, but I felt like I was so loved. And especially a big shout out to my Queen Stephanie. She was so caring, though always quiet, but I would always run to her and trouble her because I was this fun person. So it was fun. It was learning new characters from new people, different parts of the world, and it was worth it.
You know, so most of the time I know that because it's not a normal thing. It's not a thing that we're used to for industries or sectors to easily absorb physically challenged people, or I mean visually impaired for that matter. And now you're talking about modeling agencies. How were you able to convince them that there was nothing like, it was not going to be like a burden type of work, but you were willing to do this? How were you able to convince them to get you in?
Well, when I registered, they were already closed. Like registration was over, at that time getting close. So I phoned through their number on Facebook, and luckily I spoke to the management. They were like, sorry, it's closed. I was like, oh, but this has been my dream, my passion. I really want to set an example for others to follow. And the lady on the phone was like, what example? And I was like, I'm visually impaired. She was like, oh, and you want to compete? And I was like, yes. She's like, how? Can you walk? I was like, yes. Do you operate your phone? And she was like, wow. So I started telling her little details about me and, how I do my thing. She was like, okay, I want to see this history being made as well. I want to see you do your thing. I love the fact that you have passion. And these are the kind of girls or women we're looking for out there. So you know what? We're going to give you the form. Just buy it and do your thing. Prove us wrong. I was like, yeah. And I had to go there and show them that, hey, I'm Favour Rufus, the daughter of Timmy. I can do it.
I love that so much. I'm Favour Rufus, the daughter of Timmy. You need to know that name. That name is so inspirational and it's going places. All right, so you have done this, and it's something that you obviously love and that you are enjoying.
Yeah.
But I would like to ask, what are your future goals?
Okay, so I'm hoping and also planning and working on it that, like I said earlier, I work with the government to help people with physical disability, especially here in our community, Portharcourt. There's a lot of people with talents, like these people who are disabled. It'll shock you. Some of them can play the keyboard without seeing it. Like, it will get you chills like on your body. You're like, whoa. They're so talented. Like me, I do voiceover and stuff. So the amazing things they do cannot just be wasted. Such kind of people, I believe God brought them into our world so they can also add value. And my duty as the Miss Barakat CD Humanity is to see how I can set up skill acquisitions and talent hunts, and also talk to the government and other non-governmental organizations like private sectors that have or provide these materials for people with physical disability, like their Braille Embossed, Marburg Stylus, and all the rest, to distribute to at least few communities that I know they don't have access to this. Because I know what I went through while I was in school, and I wouldn't want anyone to go through this. Just like Michael Jackson said, let's make this world a better place for you and for me.
You're so inspirational, I swear. I'm just gonna say that I'm your fan from here.
Oh my
God!
God!
So you got a new fan. Okay, but yeah. So I want to go back to a story you told me behind camera. You told me about your school days.
Yeah.
Especially a school you attended at Abia State. Yes. What was that whole experience? Which has even informed your passion now for trying to build an NGO that will help to equip, physically impaired people. So tell us about that.
Okay. So when I was, I think I was searching for the school. That was back in 2015. So someone introduced the school to us, and we went for it. I never wanted to go. When my doctors would say you have to go to a blind school, I look at them like, say what? Like, why me?
You
I have to go there. My mom would be like, my daughter will never go to a blind school. She could beat up the doctor if she could. So when I finally went there, first time arriving, it was like, I don't know if you've seen these horror movies. It's like a dark world of the condemned. You're like, does this place exist? You mean people live here? These people were being treated like they're not human beings. You're expecting that they should be taken care of. And these are human beings being treated like animals. They give them rotten tomato and they cook it and they say that's stew. Come on, I can cook better than that. They give them soured rice. And I wasn't used to this life. So when I would go to the dining and I would see this food, I'm like, okay, who wants my food? And you see the children running, me, because some of them, their parents just abandon them. They don't even provide one drop or one grain of rice for them to eat. And they're just there like, the parents just say, after all, you're blind, so stay here. I don't care about you, you know? But I had to experience this, but with love from my mother, at least I had provisions to run to and just eat on it. At some point, the toilets were like so disgusting, don't want to talk about it. I got infected, like it almost got to my brain. It was that bad. I even went into coma. That's when my mom was like, enough, you're coming back home with me. Whether you go to school or not, I'll love you the same. And that's how I withdrew out of that school.
It is so appalling to hear that, because you would think that people would be empathetic and be able to say that this is a job I'm being paid for to do, and I should do my job. You know, and then it makes you want to think about the wickedness of man. But I would not even go into that, because I know those things are going to be catered for eventually with the likes of people like yourself who are very passionate about this whole cause. And I love that, and I definitely am looking forward to supporting in any way that I can. I love all that you have said, and it's so beautiful to hear that and to know that and to see that. Okay. But I would like to ask, for us as society at large, we also want to know how to be able to help. Okay. We want to know what we can be able to do to make it a safe haven for each and every person, whether you're visually impaired, physically challenged, whatever way, disabled in anywhere, in any way. We want to be able to, for people such as myself, and I know there are a lot of us out there who really do not know how to go about it. Some of us might not have the financial capacity to be able to build up these homes, to train such persons and all of that. But what little ways can the society be able to help to make life easier?
Okay, so it's very easy, though also very difficult, because we as humans, even ourselves, most times we don't even care for ourselves. They say to love another person, you must love yourself.
Oh, yes.
And I see this as we are all one, whether this person has a physical disability or not, because we all have disabilities. It may be financial, mentally, emotionally, maritally, or however, we all have our disabilities. And even in our flaws, we try to get better. So if you see someone with any kind of disability, lend a helping hand. You see them on the road, reach out to them. Hey, excuse me, what's your name? Are you lost? Can I help you? How can I help you? Maybe you help them cross the road, get them into a cab, or maybe they want to shop. Help them pick an item. Oh, what is it you want to pick? Oh, I want to pick this. Okay, I'll help you. That's the little way you can. And for the parents, the guardians, or whoever it is that takes care of these people, please do not keep them inside your houses, locked up. They're not prisoners. These people need to be out there. We don't live in a time and age where people lock up their relatives because they have one disability or the other. Bring them out to socialize, meet people. It helps them mentally. If not for my mom, I would have been so depressed. Her taking me out, socializing, playing, having fun, it made me who I am. I wouldn't be here if not for someone's support. We all need someone, whether you're sighted or not. So please, in any little way, it could be financial, it could be medical. As medical doctors, you could take it upon yourself. Get a team. Go to these areas where people don't know this. Set up orientation to teach people, oh, this is how visually impaired people are. These are the medical things they face. Please don't do this. Please don't do that. Encourage them with words. Emotionally, we need that kind of encouragement where we feel we're so capable, of facing life despite the challenges. And this way, we'll have a better world. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for teaching us on ways to make the society a safe haven for each and every one of us to dwell in, whether you're physically challenged or not. So rounding up, what one word of advice would you give to those who are physically challenged or disabled in any way, who are trying to wrap their heads around it, who are trying to carve out their niche? What one word of advice would you give to them?
Okay, I'd only say there is ability and disability. You can do it if only you believe it.
Yes, you heard it. Favour, Rufus said it. There's ability in disability. You can do it. And she's as feisty as it comes. So why not you? All right. So society, we have to do better. And yes, we can do it if we only put our minds to it. And parents, remember, don't lock them up. Bring them out. Bring them out. They're still such as ourselves, and we all have disabilities, financial, spiritual, whichever way that it goes. We are disabled one way or the other. But yeah, spread the love one another. This is Thav exclusive. Remember to follow us on all social media platforms at Thav TV, and I remain your host, Natasha. Bye for now.